on the front screen here.
Here we are, and it is another show with the Bobbi Jo and Sheena show. I being Bobbi Jo, and my girl right there being Sheena. And we just two girls having a conversation every day. We love mindset coaching. We talk every day, and we want to come to you with new ideas. And today we're going to be talking about coming from the end of the wish fulfilled. And if you read all these books, they all say the same thing. And what everyone knows the movie The Secret, right? That's all the thing. The day and the rage these days. The secret, the secret, the secret. But you know what it was? It was actually based off this book written in 1903 by Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. And it's coming from the wish fulfilled. It's never something that you want that's right here. It's always who you are, who you're meant to be, and it's going to come to you. So you have that attitude instead of in the energy of want, right? And we talk about this, that the law of vibration is really the law, but everyone talks about the law of attraction. It's the same thing, it's just a secondary law. So I was going to start with this and then allow Sheena to talk today. Too much coffee. It says, the man who is certain to advance is the one who is too big for his place and who has a clear concept of what he wants to be. He knows that he can become what he wants to be and who he is determined to be what he wants to be. So you just hold it, the power in your mind that you are that person, because I don't want what you want. Sheena doesn't want what you want, but it's about knowing what you really want. And I'll leave you with this other quote, Sheena, by Alan Watts that I was thinking about. I wake up in the morning and I get to know what we're talking about in 30 minutes, and I drink coffee quick to come here. And it's saying waking up to who you are requires letting go of who you imagined yourself to be. Alan Watts. And what does that mean? That diamond in the rough. So take it away. A couple big thoughts there coming from the wish fulfilled. And who is it that you imagine yourself to be?
And that's what's so true. And I mean, I guess the story that I've got, I love what you said there, like that you're too big for where you are. And that's what people think, they criticize where they are because they don't want to be there. But what they don't realize is by criticizing where you are makes you on an energetic level lower or on the same level as where you are. So you think you're too big to be there. But if you're criticizing it, you're actually really level with it and you're holding yourself there. It's really quite an interesting one. The way to rise above anything is to just rise above it. Just rise above it mentally. But talking about, like thinking from the end and about who are you, is that whenever I was 19 and I went for a job in the RAF as an admin, and because my IQ score was so high, they said, well, we want you to be an officer. You just sailed the interview. We just want you to come and do the training, and we'll get you started. And I just went, yeah, sure, no problem. And then I left, and then I never answered because I thought, who are they talking about? That's not me. I'm not an officer. What's an officer? I don't even know what an officer is. And I mean, I literally didn't tell anybody until I started studying with Bob Proctor. And when I got to the self-image lesson, I went, oh my God, I wasn't thinking, the only end I was thinking from Bobbi Jo was being a secretary. That's the only end I was thinking of because that's who I imagined myself to be. That's who I was told I was only ever capable of being. So this is so, so powerful. So to think from the end, I'm going through, looking at where I want to be and where I am in my head and where I am in my heart. And so I'm living from the end, but there's all this things happening here and I can't even explain it to you what happens, but the universe will come along and shift things and rearrange things, and it's about that accepting of this shift and change as you're going along. And that's where the faith comes in, isn't it, Bobbi Jo, where you just sort of go, well, this is where I'm going. I know that it's here. I didn't expect this journey to be like this, but it is. And so my attitude has changed, where before I might have gone into a pity party, and now I'm just, and I can feel myself dipping, but I catch myself and I just go, impeccable attitude, Sheena, impeccable attitude. And I catch myself and I switch it. And then I talk to Bobbi Jo, and then I've forgotten even what I was, upset, not even upset about, but we don't have the same conversations that we had now that we had 4 years ago. That's for sure.
Not at all. It's like kindergarten to like med school in a way. And you said it, the trick is keeping the faith regardless of what's showing up. It's not going to show up in the way that you think it's going to show up. And right. And Bob always said that where you are right now. And this took me years to really get. It did. Like you can hear us saying it. here's where you are, and this vibrationally you're up here, and you got to get on there. And what it is having faith, that very clear vision, and feeling it, seeing it, that it's happening. And then you know what the trick is? The gratitude. Thank you for already having it, even though it's not here right now, what we see and what we want, not want, it's already ours. You know what I mean? It's like this, it's these small little shifts. Instead of wanting, it's outside of you, but just being gratitude that you know it's coming to you, that you have that faith. We talked about this the other day. We're talking about faith and trust, and you can go on like, what is the difference between that? But that's another rabbit hole. But, it's about having that faith, just undying faith that I know where we're going. I know what I'm doing. And I don't know how it's showing up, but it's not my job to figure out how that's all going to show up. But unwavering faith and just gratitude. Then you're just grateful that, hey, I'm alive today. Hey, I'm feeling good. Hey, this coffee is friggin' delicious. It's empty.
And trust is one of the things that I'm learning about myself, is that I realized I didn't trust myself. So I looked at everything external to me for their advice, for this advice, for the other advice. And what I'm seeing now is really understanding that fine tuning that I'm learning. Like I asked Wolfgang last night, like, do we really understand the difference in doing the illogical for change and the feeling that this isn't right? And it's such a subtle difference. And this is where you'll be, because I've been saying I am trust, I am faith, and when you do that, then you will be brought circumstances in which you will have to prove your trust and your faith. And that's what I'm in the middle of. That's where I am now, is just like, is this doing the illogical and stepping into the fear, or is this trying to recognize, is this right or wrong? And we only know when we get to the other side. So what I've learned is to not be afraid of failure, not be afraid of what will people say. And beyond that now, and I'm just like, I'm just going, I upped up, without swearing, and just sort of go, yeah, got it wrong. But the only way to learn is to feel forward, but to keep feeling forward fast until you start to get the idea, just that, I knew it was wrong. I misjudged it. And this is the thing that we're learning, pretty fast and furious, to be honest. But we still keep the direction. We still hold the end. And nothing's going to stop that, because I can't even stop it, to be honest, because it's set in stone now.
Another really fabulous quote that I have, and it's right here in my house. And Sheena's going to be here 3 weeks from tomorrow. Sheena, I want you to come. I think that a week ahead of time or 2 weeks ahead, you just show up at the airport and being like, can I just get on the next flight to America? I need to go see my bestie. All right, this one is a great quote. I think it might be from the same book, but willingly identify yourself with that which you most desire, knowing it will find expression through you. Wield to the feeling of the wish fulfilled and be consumed as its victim, and then rise as the prophet of the law of assumption.
I love that.
I know you've seen it before, but I just love writing that out. And it's like I could drop into this every 30 minutes and I don't. It tends, that's like the sticky pads all over when you're brushing your teeth. I tend not to see them anymore. I gave up on those sticky notes everywhere. But this one, willingly identify yourself with that which you most desire, knowing that it will find expression through you. Wield to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, that gratitude that it's already here, and be consumed as its victim, and then rise as the prophet of the law of assumption. Do we need to say more? Boom, drop the mic. Coming
drop
from
the mic. One of the things, actually, I need to write that down, and actually, I want to ponder on that one. I really do, because that's really, really deep. And what it's saying to is, what I said all the time was, if you make a decision every single day, eventually the decision will make you. And we're making decisions at every single thought we have. If we continually have the same thought over and over again, you are making a decision that thought is what you want to have. And then the decision, life is actually it's like that when we're talking about the consciousness, Bobbi Jo, where it goes, life happens to me, to realize actually life is happening to you. But we're not coming from victim mode, we're coming from the allowing mode. That yes, but actually just saying there, victim again, it's just like, well, you are creating just every single second, and your vibration is literally sending a signal, like going, bring me this, bring me this, bring me this, So I think that's a hell of a statement. That is definitely a drop the mic statement.
Okay. We're at
Yeah.
10 minutes, so maybe we just leave it at that today because it's everything is the same thing that we're saying every day. It's about dropping into the awareness of each moment and being present in the breath. It's called mindfulness. We're mindset coaches. That's what it's about. It's being mindful of where your thoughts are because our thoughts are energy and we're never taught to think. You think you're thinking, but no, you're just reacting by what you're seeing and hearing and your kids and your husband and the job and the traffic and the get good food and whatever, all your chores. I mean, I did the other day. I was in a bad mood and I did a little Marco Polo to Sheena just to be like, see, I'm not always happy. It was more or less just to show her, like, see, I could be grumpy, rah. And she just laughs at me and doesn't feed into it. But we all have these days. We all, they're here and they get fewer and fewer. Just how reactive are you? And then you drop into grace. Give gratitude for all the things. It's shifting that perception. You have a car that's running. Yeah, you have a dog who has four legs, who's healthy. It's not a three-legged dog you have to deal with. It's just these small things like air, hello, fresh water. I mean, things that
Yeah.
maybe 200 years from now you might not even have. So what are you focusing on, your problems or your gifts? And it's just constantly checking and being aware. And it's about the accountability with working people like us to just show you this and hear us a little day. That's why we want to come every day, Monday through Friday. It's these little ways that you listen in the morning, you listen the next day, and as you're taking a shower or driving to work and you're listening to us, and you just start to shift. And in a year from now, you're going to be a completely different person by just listening to this every day, listening to the Bobbi Jo and Sheena show. That's all I got for you. Have an awesome day. Can't wait to talk to you again. And Sheena?
Think of us as your personal trainers. I heard actually somebody say, like, personal training, you need to, even though you're fit, you always have a personal trainer. And I thought, oh my goodness, we're personal trainers for the mind. Absolutely. So that's it from me. And yes, that's it from Bobbi Jo. And we'll see you tomorrow. If you've got a topic you want addressed, type it in there, let us know, and we'll talk about it because clearly we can
Yes.
talk.
That's all for today. Have a great one.